Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Battle Through the Heavens Part 183 based on novel. So let's start. Bodhisattva Ancient Tree? Old man Bao Shan's words were like a bomb that caused the entire hall to abruptly turn into an uproar. Some experts were unable to control the shock in their hearts as they suddenly stood up. The Bodhisattva Ancient Tree would enter the top 3 if every natural treasure across the entire Dochi continent were to be ranked. The Bodhisattva Ancient Tree was also known as the Knowledge Reincarnation Tree. This tree would grow one cycle every 1,000 years. It would only mature after 100 cycles. Most things would be eroded after such a long period of time. However, the Bodhisattva Ancient Tree existed outside of time. It could be considered one of the extremely ancient species of the continent. It was rumored that the Bodhisattva Ancient Tree appeared once every 1,000 years and would cause a huge commotion across the continent each time it appeared. Looking back at the long history of the continent, even elite Doshungs had died while fighting over the Bodhisattva Ancient Tree. According to the records of some ancient books, only one Bodhisattva Ancient Tree grew in this world. It possessed its own intelligence and would hide deep underground after it appeared. No one would be able to find it, and it would only appear in the world when it was ready. Bodhisattva Ancient Tree, becoming a Sheng, saint, immediately. These were not empty words. The interior of the Bodhisattva Ancient Tree was the Bodhisattva heart. Those who obtained it would have their heart transformed into a Bodhisattva heart, and becoming a saint would be a simple task. This was not mere rumor because an old expert had possessed such good luck. After swallowing the Bodhisattva heart, this untalented 2-star Dozun broke through all the obstacles in his advancement in a simple fashion, and within a short 5 years, he reached the Doshan class, shaking the entire continent in the process. This kind of divine effect caused everyone to go crazy. Whoever managed to obtain the Bodhisattva heart meant that they possessed a direct passage to advance to the Doshan class, the current peak level of this world. Moreover, even if the Bodhisattva heart was eliminated from the picture, the slightly inferior Bodhisattva seed would also increase the chances of successfully advancing to the Doshan class. Although it was not as terrifying as the Bodhisattva heart, it still possessed an irresistible allure to those at the peak of the Dozun class, since the breakthrough to the Banshan class was too difficult and dangerous. Some of the experts at the peak of the Dozun class might not be able to reach that level even after a lifetime. At this moment, a Bodhisattva seed would make them go insane. In summary, the temptation of the Bodhisattva Ancient Tree to peak experts had reached a crazy stage. One could imagine just what kind of a great uproar this news would stir in the Central Plains. Yao Lao by the side let out a long sigh while Xiao Yan's eyes revealed a stunned expression. One could sense the slight disbelief in his voice. This so-called information caused even someone with his mental fortitude to not remain completely calm. It is actually the Bodhisattva Ancient Tree. Yao Lao muttered after letting out a heavy sigh. Xiao Yan slightly nodded. His finger rubbed his storage ring. There was a Bodhisattva seed inside it. It was rumored that the Bodhisattva seed was able to sense the Bodhisattva Ancient Tree. However, why had he not discovered anything? Could it be he was too far away? Standing at the middle of the large hall, old man Bao Shan smiled as he heard everyone inhale a breath of cold air after being shaken by this news. Even he greatly coveted the Bodhisattva Ancient Tree. If the place it had appeared wasn't too dangerous, he would not have been able to restrain himself from leading his people over to search for the treasure. Old man Bao Shan, may I know where the Bodhisattva Ancient Tree has appeared? The shock in the hall continued for a moment before someone took the lead to ask. All the excited eyes present once again gathered on old man Bao Shan after this person asked a question. From the looks of it, they would not be able to control themselves and would attack old man Bao Shan if he refused to reply. Their reasoning was quite fragile because of the allure of the Bodhisattva Ancient Tree. Ha ha, everyone can rest assured that this elderly self will not hide anything now that I have spoken. Old man Bao Shan understood the thoughts in these people's hearts. He would naturally not use this matter as a joke. He laughed. The location where the Bodhisattva Ancient Tree has appeared is likely not a foreign one. It is the Ancient Wasteland region located on the northeastern border of the Central Plains. Ancient Wasteland region? Many exclamations reverberated around the large hall after these words were said. Those experts who had suddenly sat straight up earlier deflated with an anxious expression in their eyes. It is actually located in such a dangerous area. Xiao Yan slightly knit his brows. He had naturally heard about the Ancient Wasteland region. That area was probably the oldest place in the current Dochi continent. It was also the forbidden ground of all humans. The weather inside was terrible, and poison permeated the air as fierce beasts roamed. These fierce beasts were descendants from ancient times. Some of them were not inferior to any tribe in the current magical beast world with the exception of the ancient void dragon. In other words, even the heaven demon phoenix tribe would perish if they entered. These beasts were bloodthirsty and violent. Although they were not intelligent, their strengths were extremely frightening. Even experts at the peak of the Dozun class would not dare to say that they would be able to successfully leave the place alive. This was a truth provided by a countless number of years of blood lessons because many experts had entered the wasteland in search of treasures. However, contact with them was eventually lost. Some renowned experts within the Central Plains were among those who had entered. As an increasing number of experts disappeared in the Ancient Wasteland region, its dangerous reputation spread further. Eventually, no one dared to step into it. Another factor was that this wasteland was a little far away, so this once dangerous land gradually faded from memory. However, no one had expected the Bodhisattva ancient tree to appear within the Ancient Wasteland region this time around. No wonder this old fellow would release this kind of information. With the strength of the Reflecting Treasure sect and the other two factions, they would be committing suicide if they entered the Ancient Wasteland region. They wished to attract more people to enter in order to gain some benefits from the chaos. Yao Lao slowly unraveled his thoughts. He was also deeply aware of the danger of the Ancient Wasteland region. He also understood why old man Bao Shan was so open-minded about sharing such news. Ha ha, every appearance of the Bodhisattva ancient tree results in an unnatural phenomenon. Everyone should gradually be able to sense it within a month. At that time, you will know that I am stating the truth. Old man Bao Shan smiled as he stated. I have already provided the information to everyone. This spatial trade fair has successfully been completed. Thank you all for participating. The atmosphere in the large hall was quiet for a moment before some people began to stand up before they walked out of the hall. We should also leave. The Bodhisattva ancient tree is indeed a mysterious thing. We should head over to take a look if we find the chance. Yao Lao softly commented when he saw that the trade fair had been concluded. This was a very good opportunity. If they could obtain the Bodhisattva heart, the route to advance to the Doshan class would be incomparably smooth. In other words, a Doshan would appear in the Falling Star Pavilion. They would then feel more confident if they were to fight the Hall of Souls. However, we must first obtain the ancient map. Yao Lao faintly laughed. He slightly turned his head. That skinny black-robed man, who had successfully bought the ancient map, had turned around and left. A cold smile slid across Yao Lao's face as he glanced at his back. Let's go. Yao Lao got up. After which, he walked out of the large hall without turning his head. Xiao Yan and Tu swiftly followed. They were aware that an intense battle was inevitable. Yao Lao disappeared for a moment after the trade fair was concluded. After which, he returned swiftly before leading Xiao Yan's group out of this realm. He flew to the northwest. Finally, they glided through the desert and stopped on a steep mountain. This is a spot where they must pass. Given those three old demons' characters, they will definitely not take a detour even if they possess a great treasure. Yao Lao looked into the distance and spoke in a faint voice. Teacher, what is the background of those people? Xiao Yang nodded and inquired. An evil and strange sect called the Cloud Rain sect. This sect rears meat cauldrons to raise one's strength. These so-called meat cauldrons are talented girls who are given a chi method to train. They will bitterly train for over a decade before the Do Chi within their bodies is absorbed through the Cloud Rain sect's unique intercourse method. Of course, this kind of chi method is too overbearing. The ladies whose Do Chi has been absorbed usually die from old age within 10 days. The Cloud Rain sect has over 1,000 disciples. Moreover, all of them are females, but they are all meat cauldrons for those 3 old demons to absorb. It is really a shameless sect. Kalin's and the little fairy doctor's faces turned a little cold after they heard Yao Lao's explanation. They are indeed shameless and were chased away from the Central Plains back then, but it is unexpected that they have returned. Yao Lao nodded and said, "Back then, I had exchanged blows with one of those 3 and seriously injured him, but I was injured by the other 2. Therefore, I did not take that person's life. It is surprising that I would come across them after so many years. These 3 old demons' evil reputations in the Central Plains were gained much earlier than the Shui Tianzuan you met. The eldest, Jian Hizi, has already reached a 9-change peak Dozun. The second brother, Dijez, has reached the 8th change while the third, Ren Hizi, is at the 6th change. Their combined strength is likely able to contend against an elite Bansheng." Surprise flashed across Xiao Yan's eyes when he heard this information. These 3 old demons were indeed extraordinary. With this kind of strength, one would be considered top-notch even within the Central Plains. No wonder they could take out a 9-colored pill lightning tier 8 medicinal pill. Yao Lao suddenly lifted his head while Xiao Yan was continuing to make inquiries. He looked to the distant horizon and faintly said, "They are here." Xiao Yan's group's hearts shook when they heard Yao Lao's words. Their eyes looked to the front where a faint wind lightning sound was present. A couple of dozen seconds later, 3 black glows suddenly rushed over from the distance. The speed of the 3 black glows was extremely terrifying. Within a flash, they appeared 1,000 feet away. However, they suddenly appeared to have sensed something when they were just about to enter the mountain where Yao Lao was located. They immediately paused, and 3 dark, cold and ruthless gazes shot over. They paused on the group on the mountain. "Yao Chen? It is actually you." The 3 of them were stunned when they saw Yao Lao. A furious voice soon appeared. Xiao Yan's eyes observed the other party while these 3 were exclaiming. The leader was a somewhat skinny figure. His face was dark and stern, and from the looks of it, he was the person who had made the bid at the trade fair earlier. There was another elder and a man, who appeared somewhat younger, behind him. Although the last man appeared young, both of his eyes revealed an age that was not any younger than the other 2 old demons. Other than the younger-looking man, whose appearance was a little better, the remaining 2 gave one a dark and chilly feeling. Moreover, the auras that were vaguely emitted from their bodies were quite terrifying. 3 he-demon ghosts, it has been a long time since we have met." Yao Lao placed his hands behind him and laughed. "You are the person who had bid against the me earlier?" The skinny old man, who was the leader, glared at Yao Chen in a ruthless manner before he suddenly demanded. Yao Lao smiled after seeing Qian Hizi recover. He did not say any unnecessary words. "Hand over the ancient map, colon." How unexpected. The renowned Yao Zunxia, Yao Chen, on the continent is doing something like stopping someone and robbing treasure from them. Qian Hizi strangely laughed when he heard Yao Lao's words. Yao Lao smiled and spoke in an unconcerned manner. "If it was someone else, I might have thought twice. Fortunately, it is the 3 of you. Therefore, I do not feel any mental burden. Other people might be considered humans, but I do not regard the few of you as such. Humph, Yao Chen, don't think that the 3 of us are afraid of you just because you have advanced to the Bansheng class. Back then, we were able to beat you until you fled being injured. We are still able to do so today." The brutal-looking Dijez spoke with a dark and cold voice. "Why don't you give it a try? We will also be able to resolve our grudges from back then." Yao Lao grinned. He stomped his foot on the ground and his body appeared in front of those 3 in a ghost-like fashion. Monstrous Do Chi suddenly surged out of his body, and the sky suddenly turned dark. Wild wind raged and whistled across the sky. The expressions of Qian Hizi's group changed when they saw Yao Lao stirring such a force, especially Qian Hizi's expression. Although he was only half a step away from the Bansheng class, he understood just how large this difference was. An intense battle was unavoidable if they wished to escape today. Bang! Yao Lao did not give the 3 of them any extra time. He clenched his hand and dark clouds surged from the sky as a 10,000-foot large fire hand suddenly formed. after which it explosively hurtled the He-Z trio. Attack together. A dark vicious expression flashed across the eyes of Qian He-Z's group when they saw Yao Lao attacking as he pleased. They let out a furious roar as Do Qi surged from their bodies. After which, they turned into 3,000-foot large light pillars that ruthlessly collided with the enormous flame hand. Bang! The two collided and a frightening wind ripple surged out in all directions. The enormous mountains around were shaken by that energy ripple until they burst apart. Humph! As a frightening wind swept apart, Qian He-Z and his two brothers' footsteps staggered. They hurriedly took 2 steps back. A muffled voice was emitted from Qian He-Z's throat. He had suffered a small loss in this hurried cooperation of theirs. The strength of this old fellow is so terrifying. The 3 of them were unable to gain an advantage despite joining hands. The expressions of Qian He-Z's group changed. Their eyes flickered. Suddenly, they turned to Xiao Yan's group on the mountain and sinisterly said, "Third brother, those 3 are together with this old fellow. Capture them. Remember that they must live." The 3 of them would definitely enter into a bitter battle if they were to fight Yao Lao. Hence, it was better to capture Xiao Yan's group and use them as hostages. Only then would they be able to successfully escape. Ren He-Z looked into the distance when he heard this. An evil smile slid over his face as he nodded and said, "Give me a couple of minutes." His feet stepped on empty air after his voice sounded. He rushed in the direction of Xiao Yan's group. Yao Lao frowned when he saw this. He was just about to intervene when Qian He-Z and Di He-Z suddenly unleashed the Do Qi within their bodies until their limits. After which, they unleashed a tricky attack from all directions. "You are seeking death." Yao Lao's eyes turned chilly when he saw this. Qian He-Z and the other 2 could barely fight him with their combined strength, yet they dared to separate. They were really committing suicide. He was not too worried about Xiao Yan's group. Although Ren He-Z was a 6-change peak Dozun, it would be impossible for him to finish off Xiao Yan's group within a short period of time. Murderous desire surged within Yao Lao's heart. The space around him swiftly became distorted. After which, he exchanged blows with Qian He-Z again, and a frightening energy ripple once again spread across the sky. While Qian He-Z and his brother were pestering Yao Lao, Ren He-Z appeared a short distance in front of Xiao Yang's group with lightning-like speed. His heated eyes suddenly paused on Kailin and the little fairy doctor's well-proportioned and lovely figures. "Ha ha, it is unexpected that I can meet 2 exquisite beauties. This is the greatest gain of this trip." Ren He-Z's eyes were incomparably hot as they looked at Kailin and the little fairy doctor. The appearance and demeanor of these 2 women was not what those meat cauldrons within the Cloud Rain sect could compare with. They had surpassed everything. Lewd thoughts immediately began to grow wildly within his heart once he saw them. Kailin and little fairy doctor's pretty face gradually turned icy as they sensed Ren He-Z's lewd eyes. Do Qi gathered with lightning-like speed in their hands. "Hee, die brat. Leave the beauties behind." Ren He-Z licked his lips. A punch was thrown toward Xiao Yan from across a distance. A frightening sonic boom was formed from his fist, and it rumbled across the sky. Bang! Xiao Yan's face was void of expression. His feet abruptly stomped on the ground. The mountain in front of him suddenly blasted apart as a 100-foot large hot lava cylinder shot out. It poured down from the sky and stirred clusters of flames on the mountain top. Xiao Yan took the opportunity to glance at Yao Lao's battle in the distance after having blocked Ren He-Z's attack. At this moment, Qian He-Z and his brother were in a situation where they were completely overwhelmed. From the looks of the battle, they would not be able to endure for long. "Who?" Xiao Yang softly sighed in his heart. Both of his hands formed numerous complicated hand seals, and a clan tattoo surfaced between his brows. With its appearance, Xiao Yang's aura soared from the peak of an 8-star Dozun to a 3-change peak Dozun. Ren He-Z was a 6-change peak Dozun expert. He was much stronger than Shui Zunja. Hence, Xiao Yan had no choice but to be cautious since his opponent was considered the strongest Dozun among those he had met and fought. "Brat, You do indeed have some skills. However, the old me dislikes those who enjoy multiple women. You can rest assured that the old me will take good care of these two beauties after you die. Renhizi let out a sharp laugh after sensing Xiao Yan's soaring aura. Bang! Kaylin's face turned extremely cold when she heard Renhizu's obscene words. Her lovely figure leaped into the sky and dark clouds churned. Her figure turned into a 10,000-foot-long seven-colored heaven-swallowing python. Her enormous body was hidden within the dark cloud, appearing like a dragon. Oh! This beauty's actual body is the extinct seven-colored heaven-swallowing python. Ha ha, how delicious! The old me likes it. Renhizi was startled when he saw Kaylin turn into a seven-colored heaven-swallowing python, but he soon let out a loud laugh. Crash! Renhizi's loud laugh had just sounded when a colorful thunderbolt suddenly smashed down from the dark clouds. After having transformed, Kaylin's aura had also soared. She was equivalent to an 8-star Dozun human expert. However, Renhizi merely waved his sleeve in the face of such an attack. A wave of majestic Do-Chi forcefully vanquished her attack. Woeful poison body, activate. The little fairy doctor's face was icy cold. Her hand seals changed, and her beautiful long black hair suddenly turned silvery white. A Do-Chi glow that contained a fatal poison rushed toward Renhizi with lightning-like speed. This beauty has the woeful poison body? Ha ha, all of you are exquisite. Renhizi once again laughed out loud as he sensed the lethal poison within the pillar, but he did not appear relaxed. His body hurriedly pulled back as he dodged this lethal poison pillar. The woeful poison body was too intense. It would be somewhat troublesome if he touched even a minuscule amount. These two beauties are really ruthless. One is a seven-colored heaven-swallowing python while the other has a woeful poison body. With the both of them joining hands, an ordinary peak Dozun would really be no match for them. However, they have unfortunately met this elderly self. Renhizi laughed in a strange manner. The lewd smile on his face became even denser, but he was just about to attack when his expression suddenly changed. A terrifying energy ripple that caused a fear to appear in his heart suddenly unfurled from the distance. A shock flashed across Renhizi's eyes when he sensed this energy ripple that could destroy everything. He hurriedly raised his head and saw 5 clusters of flame suspended in front of the black-clothed young man on the mountain top. Other than the last type of flame, the remaining 4 types of flames caused his expression to drastically change. 4 types of heavenly flames? Xiao Yan saw the drastic change on Renhizi's face, but his expression did not change. A dense cold smile was lifted on the corner of his mouth. This was the first time he had added the life-transforming flame, after having refined the bone-chilling flame. 4 types of heavenly flame and 1 fake heavenly flame. It was a 5-colored angry Buddha lotus flame that Xiao Yan had never used before. This brat is really mysterious. He only possesses the strength of someone at the peak of an 8-star Dozun, yet he is able to unleash such a frightening strength. Renhizi's expression was volatile as he stared at the flames churning in Xiao Yan's hands, and a great wave rose within his heart. However, this shock quickly turned into a dark ruthlessness. He suddenly threw a punch and the space in front of him emitted a crashing sound as it burst apart. A dozens of foot-large dark black spatial line appeared. That spatial crack became a black ruthless poisonous snake that rushed toward Xiao Yan with lightning-like speed. Bang! An enormous spatial crack quickly spread across the sky, but it was still a couple hundred feet away from Xiao Yan when a couple of colorful thunderbolts suddenly smashed down from the sky. They ruthlessly struck the spreading crack, causing the spatial crack to pause momentarily before it quickly exploded apart. The expression in Renhizi's eyes sank when his attack was blocked. He lifted his eyes to look at the enormous 7-colored heaven-swallowing python in the sky and strangely laughed. Beauty, since you insist on intervening, the old me shall finish off the both of you first. Renhizi's body flashed after he uttered those words. He immediately turned into a ray of light that shot toward the 7-colored heaven-swallowing python in the sky. A punch was immediately thrown ruthlessly forward, and a low and deep sonic boom was formed as it whizzed toward the Kaylin. Kaylin's 1,000-foot-long tail was suddenly swung when she saw Renhizi's attack. The frightening strength caused space itself to tear apart. It ruthlessly collided with the powerful palm wind, and a frightening storm swept across the sky. The seven-colored heaven-swallowing python, which Xiao Yan had turned into, was forced back thousands of feet. Hee, beauty, you are no match for this elderly self. Ren Heezy lewdly laughed after forcing back Kalin with a punch. He was just about to turn around when many sharp rushing wind sounds appeared beside his ear, and dochi pillars with lethal poisons trickily pierced toward a couple of fatal spots on his body. Ren Heezy frowned when he sensed this attack. His feet stepped on empty air and the space behind him distorted into something like a metal wall. The dochi pillars collided with it and emitted clear, clang sounds. Two beauties, why do you need to fight all out for this brat? The both of you will definitely enjoy yourselves by following the old me, Ren Heezy laughed, but before he could finish speaking, he saw Xiao Yan press the 5 types of flames together in the distance. His face involuntarily twitched. This madman. He is actually merging the heavenly flames. The look in Ren Heezy's eyes was altered. Although he didn't know why this brat was doing something so crazy, his instincts told him that he would end up dying if he allowed this brat to continue. He immediately rotated his body and ceased bothering with Cai Lin and the little fairy doctor. He turned into a ray of light that shot toward Xiao Yan. Xiao Yan, be careful. The little fairy doctor hurriedly issued a reminder when she saw Ren Heezy move. She also hurriedly moved her body and followed. Xiao Yan lifted his head when he sensed the intense sound of rushing wind blow toward him. Xiao Yan looked at Ren Heezy's dense dark face as he headed his way. A cold laugh sounded from Ren Heezy. Green-red bone wings spread swiftly behind Xiao Yan and a silver glow flashed under his feet. His body appeared 1,000 feet away, causing Ren Heezy to miss. What frightening speed! Ren Heezy felt shock materialize in his heart when he saw Xiao Yan dodge him in such a relaxed manner. Before he could continue chasing Xiao Yan, 2 extremely ferocious attacks were launched from behind him. Those attacks came from Cai Lin and the little fairy doctor who had followed him over. Ren Heezy did not dare to allow these 2, who had joined hands, to randomly attack him. He had no choice but to turn around. Dochi surged out from his body as he ruthlessly collided with the 2 attacks behind him. Bang! The 3 of them engaged in an intense battle. Thunder-like explosions resounded across the sky as wave after wave of frightening force spread like floodwater. They shook the sky until space became distorted. Moan! Kalin and the little fairy doctor emitted a groan from their mouths when they violently collided with Ren Heezy. Their bodies were forced back. Although their bodies' constitutions were different from others, there was too wide a gap between Ren Heezy and them. It was difficult for them to win even if they joined hands. Although they did not possess the strength to be victorious, the 2 of them continued to persevere. They completely ignored the injuries that had appeared in their bodies from the counterattack. Their bodies had just stabilized when many lightning-like attacks continued to strike Ren Heezy. They caused Ren Heezy to react with chaotic responses. While their battle had become extremely heated, Chen Heezy's and Di Heezy's faces had become a little pale as they fought Yao Lao. The 2 of them together were no match for Yao Lao. If they weren't great at cooperating, their defenses would have long since been breached. Even though this was the case, it was obvious that they were unable to endure for long. Third brother, what are you doing? Why are you still showing mercy to ladies at this moment? Are you seeking death? Chen Heezy and his brother turned paler after they were ruthlessly forced back by Yao Lao once again. Their eyes glanced into the distance as they involuntarily cried out. None of them had expected Ren Heezy to be held back by 2 ladies whose strength did not exceed that of an 8-star dozun. The pressure around Chen Heezy and his brother suddenly increased after their furious voices sounded. 1,000 feet large flame fist fell from the sky and ruthlessly smashed into them. Although they had Dochi protecting them, that frightening wind still struck the both of them until they spat out a mouthful of fresh blood and flew backwards. This is bad, Big Brother's group cannot endure any longer. Ren Heezy's heart sank when he saw Chen Heezy and his brother spit out blood and withdraw. Since I am unable to capture that brat, I shall capture a beauty as a hostage. Otherwise, we will be finished today. This thought lingered within Ren Heezi's heart. He gave up on capturing Xiao Yan as his palm shattered an enormous colorful thunderbolt. After which, his large hand suddenly grabbed at the little fairy doctor. The space around her instantly stilled. Bang! The little fairy doctor's expression changed when she sensed space still around her. Do Chi surged from her body, causing the solid space around her to tremble, but she was not able to break free. Beauty, the old me shall bring you with me this time around. Ren Heezi's figure flashed away while the little fairy doctor was attempting to shatter the distorted space and retreat. He appeared in front of the little fairy doctor and gave her a lewd smile. His large hand reached toward her. Cai Lin in the sky felt her heart sink when she saw this person give up on targeting Xiao Yan. Instead, he had decided to capture the little fairy doctor. She hurriedly activated the thunderbolt strength within the dark clouds and shot them toward Ren Heezi from all directions. Ren Heezi merely clenched his hand when these attacks came down, and they were completely shattered by a distortion in space. Beauty, you are mine. Ren Heezi let out a strange laugh after shattering all the thunderbolts. His eyes were extremely heated as he looked at the expression on the little fairy doctor's face. His hand was about to grab her shoulder. It is too early for you to be happy. As Ren Heezi's large hand was about to grab the little fairy doctor, a cold laugh suddenly reverberated behind him. The Ren Heezi's face changed when he heard this voice. He suddenly turned around and his eyes shrank. An exquisite basin-sized five-colored fire lotus cut through the air and rushed his way. This fire lotus contained 5 colors and fire seedlings continued to rise around it. A frightening extermination force emanated from it. Even Ren Heezi felt his limbs become ice-cold because of this annihilation force. Such a might was comparable to some Qian-class middle-level Do skills. Thick Earth Bell. Ren Heezi's limbs might have been icy cold, but he did not lose his reasoning. His hand seals rapidly changed as Do Chi surged from his body in all directions and an enormous bell quickly appeared. His body quickly hid within it. An enormous snake tail rushed down from the sky when Ren Heezi used his defensive Do skill. It swiftly wrapped around the little fairy doctor and pulled her away. If you wish to find a beauty, you can go and find one in hell. Xiao Yan's expression was dark and cold as he glanced at Ren Heezi in the large bell. Ren Heezi's eyes had revealed a panic. A cold smile was lifted on the corner of Xiao Yan's mouth as the bone wings on his back were flapped. His body withdrew with lightning-like speed. At the same time, the seal formed by his hands changed. Explode. After this word was spat out from Xiao Yan's mouth, the 5-colored fire lotus suddenly paused next to the bell shape. It subsequently exploded in front of Ren Heezi's shocked eyes. Bang! The entire place trembled because of this explosion. All the mountains within a 10,000-foot radius emitted a boom as they were blasted into dust. In an instant, the mountain range had turned into a desert. Sand and rocks flew while smoke permeated the air. A 5-colored fire lotus? No. This could only be described as a 4.5-colored angry Buddha lotus flame. Was this terrifying? Forget about Ren Heezi. Under this frightening explosion, even an expert with Qian Heezi's strength would be turned into nothing in an instant. This video will end here.